We're going to move on to something a bit more sort of extensive and to do with images, but I want you to do this. No, don't do that. In other words, I want you to absorb yourself in the exercise. In other words, the exercise should involve not thinking. But at the same time, I want the rest of your brain and body to be thinking about complexity. And it can be scientific complexity. It would help if those scientists in the room were thinking about complexity, a particular complex system or an issue about complexity. And in particular, but then the rest of us could, the exercise that we're going to move on to actually involves social complexity and psychological complexity and tries to move a blockage. So what I'd like you to address is the issue of complexity, either from the point of view of a scientist, complexity in general, or a particular complex system, or a question about complexity. And there's a sort of, there's a bit of grit in there, or there's a blockage, there's a wall, or there's a black box and you can't get inside the black box. Does that make sense? So it could be that you were thinking, if you weren't thinking about scientific complexity, it could be a relationship question. I can never get my partner to understand that I'm always right. And that's a sort of blockage in the relationship, even though I know we love one another deeply. Does that make sense? Not quite so trivial, but something like that. Yeah, I can't get in. Or we always agree to disagree, but there's always that bugbear about, actually, you ought to understand. Or the problem with a child, or with a parent, or significant others, or at work. Yeah, Maureen won't realise her full potential. I keep helping her, but every time I help her, she thinks I'm beating her up. That sort of complexity. So a social or psychological complexity where there's a blockage, or a scientific complexity, or general questions about complexity where there's something that's stopping. And I'm not going to ask you for the answer or to declare what it is at all in the course of this afternoon, but I'd like you to be getting towards there because I want you to play with that, even if we invent it. Is this a reasonable request? Okay. So find a partner and carry on thinking about that, but see if you can just body think it, keep it in your mind, but actually now attend to this physical exercise. Could you find a partner and let's fill the room as pairs? If we shake hands, now what I'm going to ask you to do is to freeze, is to stay still. Okay. What I'm going to do is to walk away and without thinking, just stay there. So stay there, exactly as you are. And without thinking, I'm going to respond to that image. And now I'm going to stop. And you're going to move away, Mark's going to move away, and without thinking is going to add his body to this image. You stay there, and then you respond, and you stay there, did it? Okay, so a handshake, agree who's going to break, and if you lose it, just start again. You with me? Okay, so you shake hands, one of you freezes, and the other one joins the image. So you... Join the image like that, or however you want, or however your body wants, without thinking. Okay. So it suggests something to you. Okay. Someone freeze. Good, okay. Now you step away, look, and respond. Excellent. Okay, now Jeff moves away, looks, and responds. Okay, now keep these as frozen images, okay? So one of you stops and the other one walks away, responds to the image without thinking. And relax. Great. Good. Have a bit of a shake and then have a chat together. Two groups. Have a chat about what was happening, how it was, whether it was fun or not. And you start to feel that you can actually step out and come in.
It's interesting to work through space, isn't it? Because I work through images or sound or something, but the idea of movement. Complete picture. We do it when we're dance, don't we? That's right.
At the beginning, I played very much side of the camera, so I could see myself outside, so kind of basically to try to create the symmetry, create breaking symmetry. But then with you, it was more like a psychological, like an emotional picture about shaking hands, about grabbing you like that, or dancing. It was completely different. It was like, it was not the picture, it was the psychological. Yeah, that's it.
It sort of moves between sometimes forebrain, that slows you down. This is where it's back brain and body is the quick one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where I am.
We're talking about how the way you choose to move reflects cultural and social mores.
Yeah.
And there said, what about if an institution, how you would respond if you were the secretary and as the managing director, would that be reflected?
Yes. Well, I've sort of did this sort of work with different constituencies, and sometimes say with planning officers, who really don't want to move, but they do get into moving. And it releases all sorts of blockages, but sometimes you get that there is definitely something going on, but it's a space where you can play that through safely.
Yes.
Still got the complexity idea bubbling here?
No.
Because we've talked now, haven't we? So I'm going to make the rubric again, and you'll probably lose it a bit, but I want you to get it back. So just close your eyes and breathe gently for the moment. And try to recall, try to think back, try to recover or discover in you that thought about complexity in your life, or that bit of your life which is professionally to do with complexity, complex systems in social science or biological science or physical science or whatever science. And in particular, a wall or a blockage or that bit of grit, the thing that won't move, or the black box that you can't get inside, or the unsolvable or seemingly unsolvable conundrum or paradox. So I'm going to give you some time in the dark just to find that again. And as you find it, see if you, just like you've been doing this exercise with other bodies now, how do you feel it in your body? Where is you bodily in this, or in relation to this complexity? Does it make you hunched? Or does it make you feel expansive? Does it make you feel screwed up? Does it make you feel disbalanced or unbalanced, excited? What's the bodily sensation for you as you think with your forebrain? What's your bodily response to this complexity and this blockage in it? And later, I'm going to ask you to tell your partner about it after this next exercise in a safe way. So you're going to recount it, but in a way that doesn't name real people or put you at any sort of risk. Okay, so what's the story to describe it to someone else? And ask somebody to actually make an image from as many bodies as they want in the room of family. It could be your family, the family in general, or a particular idea about the family, yeah? And it could be from a child's point of view, from anybody's point of view, but I want you to make a picture of family. There are a few chairs in the room, and a table or two, if you want them, but generally I'd like you just to dispose the bodies. Now the bodies in the room can be other bodies. They can be the body of the father, the body of the mother, the body of the child, the body of the baby, but they might also be a wall, or a barrier, or a church, or anything. Are you with me? So I just want